Hey there, everyone. Super excited to be here. Already see some people in the chat. I see Amber's from Georgia. I'm also from Georgia.
Nice. Welcome, everybody. We are really excited. We're going to kick off in welcome to our summer reading webinar, where summer reading is an adventure. And we're going to start with Catherine. We're just going to start by introducing ourselves first.
All righty. Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Coyle, former teacher and now work at Novel Effect as our content and curriculum specialist.
Hi, I am Tracy Mercier, and I am the Product Engagement Manager at Novel Effect.
Hey, everybody. I'm Tisha Poncio. I think this was my turn, Terry. I could be wrong, though. We could introduce ourselves together. I am Community Engagement at Wakelet. I'm also a former teacher of 22 years, and I was an ELA teacher, so this webinar is really exciting to me. I can't wait to see all of the shares and share it with all of you. Thanks for having me, Novel Effect.
So I'm Terri Harkey, joining you from Kerrville, Texas. I am a retired school librarian and band director. And currently I'm the Texas Bluebonnet Coordinator, and I'm an educational consultant for Lightbox Learning. And I'm also a book creator, author, ambassador, and trainer.
Awesome.
And hello, everyone. My name is Rachel Kent, and I'm here with Curipod. I am a curriculum designer and prompt engineer, and I'm also currently a full-time career and technical education teacher, where I teach students how to become teachers. So I was an English teacher and a special education teacher prior to this, so summer reading is something I love.
I cannot wait for what we're all going to share tonight. It sounds like we all have so much in common around literacy and our time in education. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So some things we're going to chat about tonight are around skipping the summer slide, summer reading adventures with Novel Effect, and then our partners with Wakelet, Book Creator, and Curipod, aka Tisha, Terry, and Rachel, are going to share some activities that can be used over the summer to maintain learning. And then we'll have time to take questions and give you some answers.
So be thinking of questions that pop up throughout the presentation, and then we'll be able to chat about all those at the end. And something else fun is we have a giveaway just for this webinar, when swag from us and our partners, as well as a Novel Effect summer reading plan for your whole school, which I'm excited about because that's a really awesome prize. So in order to enter, you will post on Twitter or Instagram, and you can take a picture of this presentation. You could take a picture of yourself watching it and comment a takeaway from it. Just anything special you learned in this webinar or something you're excited about. And then tagging us. You can see all of the tags at the bottom. And then we will pick one lucky winner to win our giveaway.
So much fun. And also, I just wanted to share, you can definitely post your questions in the chat. We have some of our colleagues from Novel Effect monitoring the chat, and will definitely be able to help you out. And they'll also be sharing links along the way, as all of us are sharing information around summer reading and summer learning. So, a couple of things around the summer slide. As educators, a lot of us are familiar with what the summer slide is. And one of the things that I found really interesting is that those students who do not read over the summer lose 20% of all the academic gains that they made during the school year. And there's a pretty big chunk of kids who don't read throughout the summer. So 20% don't read at all, and those 20% lose 20% of their learning. gains. The summer slide is the #1 contributor to the achievement gap, and the summer reading definitely helps close it, because kids who are reading become more curious, and then they feel more prepared and more confident when they go back to school. And then, as you know, like if you're already behind in academics, then when you lose an additional 20% over the summer, that just compounds year after year, and it widens and broadens the academic gap. And one way we can definitely help our students and help their families is giving them access to books and giving them some ideas around reading over the summer so they can maintain all those amazing gains that we all work so hard for them to achieve. So, an average number of books that frequent readers have at home are 139. The more books that kids have access to, the more likely they are going to read. And then, of course, we know the more that they're reading, the more prepared they are for the new school year, the more confident they're going to be when it comes time to learn. They become more curious and like are equipped to be thinking critically. And so just having access to books, and it does not have to be in their home, will increase their opportunities to read throughout the summer. Kids who have access to books can look like going to the library. It can look like getting books from their school library. I know I worked in one school library where towards the end of the school year, we invited our students to take out a greater number of books to read over the summer, and then they just returned them at the beginning of the new year. I worked in another school where we did a huge, like, we used the cafeteria and we put out all these books for the kids to choose from, and they could take up to 5, so they had some books to bring home with them and had something to read over the summer. One of the things that's really great is that kids who are participating in summer reading programs are encouraged to read more. And a lot of your local libraries are also partnering with your schools and your school libraries, and they have summer reading programs that they are using to get the kids excited about reading over the summer. And we at Novel Effect actually have taken the CSLP, or the Collaborative Summer Learning Library Program, and their theme, and incorporated it into our collections that we're going to be promoting over the summer, because it's very connected to the summer reading programs that public libraries are using and then rewarding kids for reading during the summer.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah.
So we would like to hear from you guys. What has made your summer reading successful in the past? Whether you followed a program or maybe you came up with your own incentive. Was there anything that you found like particularly interested students or got them reading? Any feedback from families?
I was just reading something that Amber put up here, that she weeds her books in her library and then puts those out for the kids. Like, that's a great way to give kids access to books.
Incentives, I see.
What kind of incentives do you use, Michelle?
Something I have done in the past is partnering with Six Flags, and I'm not sure if they do this anymore, but it did encourage students to read throughout the summer to earn a Six Flags ticket. So that was something I did.
That's amazing. Well, Maureen, I saw your comment about how you would love a list of books to read for the summer, and we definitely have you covered. So I'm just going to let Catherine chat a little bit about this part.
Yeah. So Novel Effect, we're going to see how it in action in just a moment. But before that, if you haven't used Novel Effect, it is our app. It's so cool. It adds music, sound effects, and character voices as you read from your favorite picture book. So you're still reading from a physical copy of the book. We do have ebooks that you can read with, but the majority of the time you're going to be using those physical books that you already know and love, and then adding this extra element of Novel Effect to it. So we have over 1,000 soundscapes. So that's about 1,000 different options that you can have for reading with Novel Effect, different books. 280 ebooks, and the collection is growing. So that's great for those students that might not have access to a lot of physical books at home. And then majority of our titles are in English, but we do have a Spanish collection as well, which people love to check out. So let's see how it works. Oh, in just a moment. So there are 3 steps to using Novel Effect. We will see a demo in a second. But before that, we're going to chat about why families use Novel Effect. It is a multi-sensor. It makes read-alouds multi-sensory. It's a great way, again, to add that like interactive level to your read-alouds. And with that multi-sensory comes a lot of really good discussion starters. So not only will it keep the kids and your students engaged, but it makes it really easy to add in other elements to your read-alouds, like discussion questions or talking about vocab skills that like the soundscape conveys through the music and the sound effects. Another reason families love to use Novel Effect, as we mentioned, are our ebooks that you can read in-app along with the Novel Effect soundscape. And then we have a fabulous librarian who's on this call, actually. And she creates collections in the Novel Effect app. So upcoming seasons, themes, topics, holidays, events, she'll make collections for each one specifically, and you can find that in on our homepage on the app. And I love it because it is like read aloud inspiration. Like, you know, these things are coming up, but maybe you don't know what book you want to read yet, or you don't know what books work on Novel Effect that go along with that topic. So I love looking through all the collections and getting ideas for how I want to incorporate them into lesson plans.
Catherine, do you mind
which we will talk about too.
Oh yeah, 100%. Do you mind if I add on a little bit to that first point you were making about the multisensory?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So, in addition to like what Catherine was saying with the discussion questions and adding on to the read aloud, one of the things that I really love about Novel Effect Soundscapes, and that as a librarian and educator, that really drew me to using Novel Effect, was the way it makes you feel like you're in the story in a completely different way. Some that always come to my mind are, for example, like Trombone Shorty, and I feel like I'm in NOLA and I am there and can hear him playing. It is just like so immersive, and it just makes me get a real good sense of what it's like in that city. And then another one I really love is Beat the Adventures of Beakle, the imaginary friend. And I love that because the way that the designers use incorporated music and sound effects into that soundscape just makes the settings so crystal clear, especially when there's like a shift in the settings. And you can tell there's such a difference between the fantastical setting and the more true to life setting, the more realistic setting. And I just love the way that it really helps build that background knowledge and helps make those things that could be really abstract for young readers very concrete. All right. Do you want an intro? So we're going to just give you a little glimpse into how Novel Effect works. And this is Catherine actually reading aloud a little bit from Dragons Love Tacos. And she's got some really great tips in here about using Novel Effect when reading aloud with kids.
You can see that Dragons Love Tacos is up on my screen. This is that music note I mentioned. So you're going to click this. says print because we're reading a print copy of the book, I can just put my phone down and start reading whenever I'm ready. Dragons love taco. Notice it's waiting for me. It's not skipping ahead. Hey, kid.
Hey, what?
Did you know that dragons love tacos?
Wow.
They love beef tacos and chicken tacos. They love really big, gigantic tacos and tiny little baby tacos as well.
Baby tacos.
So again, you can hear the music, but it's waiting for me. Why do dragons love tacos? Maybe it's the smell from the sizzling pan. Maybe it's the crunch of the crispy tortilla. Maybe it's a secret. So you can see how this novel effect soundscape is also really good for teaching vocabulary skills. For example, sizzling. We heard the sound effect for it sizzling in the pan. And also, notice novel effect is waiting for me. So you can have conversations like this with your students, ask comprehension questions, manage behavior, and the app will literally wait until you continue reading again. So I'm going to skip some pages to show you again how that works. These dragons love your taco party. They love the music. They love the decorations. They especially love the tacos. Congratulations. I like this page. It's a good thing you got rid of all that spicy. Wait a second. What are those little green things in the salsa? You didn't read the fine print?
Yeah.
That's the most important part.
So I'll go ahead and stop it here. But that is novel effect in action, and how cool is that?
Catherine, one of the things that I love is how you're so right in there when you're talking about how the soundscapes can help support vocabulary development. Also, one of the things that I think is fantastic is that inner dialogue of the characters, and so really helping kids infer what's happening inside the characters' mind.
For sure. Taking it into perspective, thinking about what they said in the soundscape or how they said it. Because something else I really love is that our soundscape designers will literally go through a book before they start doing the soundscape and designing the soundscape with the educators on the team, talking about like the theme and the emotions and how the characters should be portrayed. And if there's any like just little hints or tidbits that maybe educators would know after reading the book so many times. And now I forget where I was going with this, but that is something I love is that they specially craft each soundscape. That's where I'm going with this to convey those different feelings from the character or whatever it may be. So they're in there on purpose.
Yeah, they do the same thing with themes. And like when I think about the book Big by Vashti Harrison, like that you can definitely hear it in the music, in how the music is used in that soundscape, and then how the music shifts with the characters' internal dialogue and perceptions, and then how it kind of shifts when the theme of the book shifts a little bit. I think they're so conscientious and careful in how they design.
You can see that
how they design the soundscapes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. We are super excited, like I was saying earlier, because what we do is we take a look at the CSLP's summer reading themes, and we find a way to incorporate those into our summer reading programs. And the reason why we do that is to help families really identify books, like Catherine was saying earlier. Like if you're not sure what you want to read, like this is a great way to find stuff to read. So this year in our summer reading collections and in our summer reading plan, it's all around adventures in reading. So we have 3 collections. One is a STEM adventures, and all those books are focused on STEM science, STEM in the real world, STEM in the fantastical world, and problem solving and critical thinking and being creative and engineering. We have another collection that's around nature and having adventure in natures and in nature, and really taking a look at the world around us and the environment, the animals that live with it, in our environment, whether it's right in our own backyard or in the more global world, and really sparking curiosity in young readers and getting them to want to go outside and explore their own environment. And then another one around athletic adventures, be in that really incorporates a lot of different ways for kids to move. So books are focused on things like basketball, tennis, football, dance, all these in games and competition, and all these great fun ways for kids to move and enjoy their summer. Like, we really took time and thought in how can we get kids reading, and how can the books that they're reading get them excited to do stuff outside. And so that's really the focus of our summer reading collections and our plans this year. And when on our website, and I know Mary Alice is going to drop the link in there, we have a tracking sheet, which is the little tents and tails, so kids can color in a little tent for every book that they read. And then there is also an adventure guide that comes with it, which is super helpful for adults. It has some general questions and prompts that you could use for each collection that can be applied to any of the books within that collection. And then we also have some book activities where, if you are a premium subscriber, those are free. And Catherine creates all those. So they're designed by a professional, by an educator, and they're really focused on helping kids learn and apply skills. So that will really help them maintain those gains that they made over the summer, in addition to the reading. Did I forget anything there, Catherine?
I don't think so. The only thing I would add to the activities and crafts, because again, I can always talk about these since I make them, but also, yes, they are related to a lot of standards and skills, but I designed them to be fun for the kids, and things that they want to be doing. So you're not like putting a worksheet in front of them. It's more like building a craft or like an interactive game together. So it's things that are appealing for them that doesn't just feel like, another worksheet.
Yeah, 100%. They're so, so fun. And we're super excited. So from attending this webinar, you can save 25% off of our summer reading plans. So we have school summer reading plans, public library summer reading plans. If you're a classroom teacher and you want to buy summer reading access for your students, you can save 25% off of that. If you're a parent or a family member and want to give a child who would love to have some fun reading this summer, you can save 25% off of all of those plans just using our code SUMMER24 when you check out. Mary Alice is going to drop the link so you can learn more about the plans and our summer reading in general, so you can get a glimpse of what kinds of books are included in our summer reading collection, or you can scan the QR code. One of the great things, though, and I want to just make sure this is clear, is that it's not just the books that are included in the soundscapes included in the summer reading. Subscribing gives families access to our 1,000 plus soundscapes, are close to 300 ebooks. So it's not limiting you to only those books in the summer reading collections. It's everything within the app.
Yeah, I think that's a good point to make, Tracy. That it's unlimited access to everything, also including the activities.
I was just going to say that, including the activities, which are available directly in the app. So all premium subscriptions get unlimited access to soundscapes, unlimited access to the in-app ebooks, which have soundscapes that go with them, and includes poetry, which is fantastic for helping kids build fluency and vocabulary and expression. And then all the activities which are available for download in the app when you are a premium subscriber.
Fabulous.
And next up is Terri from Book Creator, and she's going to share some ways that kids can continue that learning over the summer.
Absolutely. So I'm assuming I'm on. Am I good?
I see.
Okay. So as a librarian, the first thing I always like to do is let everybody know what I'm reading. So what I'm reading is The One and Only Family. If you know The One and Only Ivan, The One and Only Bob, One and Only Ruby, this is the completion of the series, and it's so good. I'm reading it for the second time. But it's kind of sad when you get to the end because you realize we're at the end and there's not going to be any more. I heard Catherine speak this past week and she said, this is it. But fabulous book. If you have not read this series, great, great series. So that's my librarian spiel. All right. So now I'm going to start on my book creator spiel. So at Book Creator, we are all about giving access to kids and just helping them learn in a way that's great for them. Book Creator was created by a dad who wanted to give access to his kids, and he didn't feel like maybe they had the best access, so he created it so that you can create books for kids. Kids can create books, and it's still that. So they have created, this book is not something I created. It is something that they created. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you I am going to show you what they have created for us. So to have access to this, you have to be part of Book Creator. So if you just go to bookcreator.com, you can get access. You can get free access with 40 books that you can create. Some of these things that I'm going to show you, you have to have the premium account, but a lot of it is totally free. So you can get in there on the free account and create 40 different books. If you're a teacher, and you can do it with all your kids. If you're a librarian, you can do it with some of the kids in your school, or you can do it with teachers. But I'm going to show you what they have created. So I'm actually in my account right now. And across the top here, this is my dashboard. I have libraries. The second one, though, is Discover. So if I click on Discover here, this first thing is summer literacy. So they've created 4 different books, and I'm going to click on here, and I can take these books and remix them, which means I can make them my own. So I'm going to click on this one right here and show you how to do this. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to say read now. Up at the very top, it says remix. So if I remix this, it asks me what library I want to put this in. If you have the free version, you only have one library, so you're going to put it in that. If you have the paid version, you can put it in whatever library you want to. So I've already put all 4 of these books in my library so that I can show you, but I can choose which ones I want to put it in. I put it in Summer Reading 2024. So I've already done that. And so I'm going to go over to my library here. I'm going to go to my libraries, and I'm going to jump down to the one that I put those books into. So here those books are. So I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to open this book, and I'm going to open it right now in Read. So that means I'm not editing, I'm just reading it. I'm just looking at it. So as I go through here, it gives me things that I'm going to take out when I share this with kids. So first thing is a teacher guide, shows you how to set this up, shows you how to use it. Set up for success tells you all the things that you're going to need to make this successful on your campus or with your public library. Checklist for things that you're going to do before you share this book out. Then you can customize this specific book for your campus or your public library or your home. A letter for your families that you can personalize, and then a student guide. And I would leave this in for everybody because it's got a great video that walks the kids through how to use this product, how to use this book. Remember, complete one or more activity after reading each book or article. So somebody asked a while ago, do you have a way to keep up with the books that we read this summer? So the kids can take a screenshot of the book they read and drop it in here so that they can keep up with it. They have their like little bookshelf. They can keep up with the books that they've read. That's just an example that we put in there, but you can take that out or you can leave that in. Then we have provided you all these different ways that you can get books. Now, for some of them, such as Sora Overdrive, Epic, ReadWorks, Libby, you have to have an account set up through your school or through the public library. But some of them are totally free. Like when I found out that we were doing this, I talked to Lightbox and I got them to give us access to a bunch of books. You don't have to have an account or anything. If you click on this Lightbox one, it's going to take you into 1,047 interactive books that you can just click on, go into, and have access to. You don't have to do anything to get those books. Like I said, on some of these, though, like if you go into Sora, it's going to ask you what your school is. So you have to have an account with them. But some of them, Lightbox, Unite, Storyline, and Gutenberg, books 100% free for you to explore. Here's another place that the kids can keep up their summer reading log. And then here's the choice board. So here's all the different things the kids can do after they read a book. They can sketch it. They can sketch your favorite scene, talk about a connection that you have, design a cover, an audio snippet, turn your favorite moment into an audio snippet, an alternative ending where you write the ending of the book. Maybe you didn't like the ending and you can write it. A vision board, create a vision board or a collage of the book. Do a book review. Would you recommend this book to others? Make a movie or do a 4-panel story. So if you click on one of these, it will immediately take you to another page that has that task. But if I click through here, here are all of those tasks. Okay, so I'm at the end. So what we're encouraging them to do is after they read a book, do an activity for each one. So I'm going to go back to my library and I'm going to show you, this is the K through 2 one, and I'm going to show you the edited version. So I can go in and edit this. I can remix it. I can make it my own. So here's the teacher guide, and here's a little button over here that says delete this page. So after you get it done, you're going to delete this page. Next page, same thing. After you get it done, you're going to delete this page. But it just takes you through. The K2 version is going to be easier for younger kids. So you're going to edit this page, record your own voice, or you can use the other one that's already provided. And then this is for younger kids. We already have books selected that they can click on and they can read. So they don't have to go find books. They're just going to be available to them. All right, I just got a couple more minutes here. I've got my timer going, so I'm going to go back to my library right quick. The coolest thing ever is this, and I did this with this book right here. So this one is 3 through 5. So some people were asking, do you have this in Korean? Do you have this in a different language? I can translate this entire book in one of 160 different languages. So I'm going to click right here and I'm going to say translate the book. Choose my language. I can choose any of these languages and it will translate the entire book into a new language. Now, the books that you're going to link to are going to be in the language that they're in. But Unite for Literacy and Lightbox has many, many different languages supported. So if you click on one of these, it will translate it into a different language. I did it because it takes a little while to do. I did it into, I think this is Bulgarian. Now, the layout you're going to have to work with a little bit because some words are different in different languages. So you're going to have to work with the layout a little bit. But this entire book is now in Bulgarian. So that's Book Creator. Hope you check it out. Go to bookcreator.com. Get the free version. If you like it, you can get the paid version. All right. Thanks so much, y'all.
Thank you so much, Terri. I really love the way that we're connecting reading and writing for kids, and like that they will have so much fun.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And next up, we've got Tisha with Wakelet.
Thanks, Tracy. Okay, I am sharing my screen, as you can see. Rachel is my timer. I didn't set a timer, but I did tell Rachel to make me stop after my time is up. So as everybody was talking, I'm just going to show you the power of Wakelet for Novel Effect, Curipod, and Book Creator. But a lot of you that are watching are going to see the power of this Wakelet collection. I've actually, Mary Alice can share that out. She has the link. But as you guys were talking and sharing resources, I was actually pulling together an updated version of this collection. So I have a section here, track your reading. I have put together this summer reading journal. If you cannot see it, somebody yell at me. But essentially, this is a column layout in Wakelet. This is a way that you could put together those reading choices for your students. I'm going to show you a couple of other examples, but I just finished reading The Giver with my 8th grade son. And so I used this here. I have taught The Giver before, so it's one of my favorite books, but I just put this column layout together. And I always like to say all of these platforms really speak to the fact that you can layer learning on top of this reading. So it doesn't just have to be how it was when I was in school, read the book, check it off, count the number, and then move on. You can really deep dive with some of this. So I went through and did a reflection, and I added a curious question column, and then also audio and voice feedback. So this is a very simple way to keep track of the books that you are reading, that your students are reading, that your kids are reading if you're a parent. But there are some other ways to use Wakelet. If you wanted that tracking sheet, it is here. So I have curated all those resources that Mary Alice was putting in the chat. That tracking sheet is really cool. Here's what I will tell you on that tracking sheet. You can print this out, and as your students go in, and I love the tens and tails, it just made me really happy. They can take a photo of that and they can upload that into their reading journal. So you see there's a lot of ways to app smash this. Book Creator, I decided to go out and see what was out there for The Giver. So The Giver is here by Hannah. You can see that Wakelet actually would have Terri put all of her cool books in here, and you can actually click through those books or those activities right inside of that Wakelet collection. So you can pull all of these pieces together and just share in that one link. I actually added this link as well. Somebody put it in the chat, so I wanted to make sure you had all of those resources. And then I went to Curipod because I wanted to see if there was something for The Giver there. And what I love about this is that I can take that QR code from Curipod and I actually put it on my little card so that my students or my parents could scan it, and they can take their phone and scan it. And it has them do an activity. So it's really inquiry-based learning. So it's having them think through what a word means and then illustrating that and then being able to talk through it. Rachel put some resources out there. So Rachel, I put those in there for you. And then Novel Effect. So we have 2 collections that I want to show you for Wakelet. The first one is from Amanda. And when you go to her collection, you can actually follow her. You can actually also export this as a PDF if you want, or make a copy. So anything I'm sharing with you, you can make copies of. Just like Terri said, you can go make them your own. But she has put categories in place for her students and ideas, and then come up with this really cool Connect 4 game where she's given you the Canva template here. And she explains more about that game within that template, but you also can reach out to her if you want to connect with her. I can get you her info. But what it's really cool, she splits her class up into teams, and then they have to get a Connect 4 based on their reading. And then the other example is by Seth. So this one was really fun. He took Novel Effect and Wakelet together and put some learning resources, but then he has this entire activity. He did a screen recording in Flip, and he was having his students use Wakelet to do drawings. So they were using the Wakelet app so that they could annotate the perfect taco. We're talking tacos. If you don't know me, you don't know how much I love tacos. We can talk about tacos all day. But this is Seth's example, and you can see students can upload those images with their illustrations right here. So those are the 2 examples that I've given you for Wakelet and Novel Effect. I also added summer reading there. This is the link Mary Alice put in the chat. I've also put links here for you to contact me if you have any questions or want to connect further on Wakelet or what's happening with Wakelet. And then lastly, I've given you a link to sign up for Wakelet Community Week. That is 1 week of free PD anytime, anywhere you are. You're going to hear from educators just like you're hearing from today. So I think Wakelet is a great way to streamline all of your summer reading and get really creative. And that's really what I'm gonna end on that. I think the thing about it is reading is so good. How can you layer that on top? How can you really individualize that learning for students so that it's really meaningful and they come back to school and they're excited to talk about it? The video I created, I actually put into CapCut so you can have them do it like TikTok style. There's so many ways to level this up. It just makes me really excited. Rachel, how'd I do?
You did perfect. Exactly on time. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. If you guys have questions, what? My instincts. Yeah, I knew. I was like, I got to get it all out. So I put the collection link in the chat, and I'll also put it over on the YouTube for you guys. But that is Wakelet. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat for us.
Awesome. So thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Rachel Kent, and I'm here with Curipod today to hopefully give you some ways that you can add on to the curiosity of reading with your students this summer. So I am going to take us through a Curipod. If you have an extra device by you, we're going to take a look at some of the options and ways that you can encourage students to think more deeply about what they're reading and actually give them an opportunity to interact with some of the characters in their books. So our goal at Curipod is to help every make it as immersive as possible so that students just totally forget that they're in class. So if you're available to join on a cellular device, we have it there and our code will come up in just a second. So the generator that I'm going to preview for you today is one of our great interactive generators for reading, and it's called our Character Quest generator. And Curipod uses artificial intelligence to create these amazing slide decks with interactive polling and AI whiteboards and writing feedback and just a really robust series of activities that you can use in your classroom that are curated by someone who has experience working inside of the education system. So as I was mentioning, Curipod is all about building the curiosity. And if you've joined online, you can navigate through the slides on your own, and you're actually going to have that whole presentation that we're doing right in your hands. Teachers on Curipod have the opportunity to freeze the lesson if they want, so students can't go back and forth like they sometimes like to do. And it's really gives you a lot of great detail about what students are doing and how they're thinking about what they're reading. So on this generator, you enter in a character's name and you enter in the grade level. Now, one of the wonderful things about Curipod is you don't have to worry about if whether or not the texts that are generated are at readability level for your students. I'm a very passionate ELA educator, so I'm making sure that everything's on point with our Lexiles, which I'm very proud of. So you know that if you're creating a lesson for 6th grade students, it's going to be written at their independent or their instructional level, depending on the type of generator you choose. So the story that we're going to interact with today is going to be Matilda, one of my absolute favorite books from childhood. And every single one of these lessons is going to focus on a guiding question around that character. So if you're in the middle of reading the book, before you read the book, at the end, instead of having students write that summer reading essay, you could have them instead interact with the character themselves and get feedback from the character. Now, we have tested this with some authors, and they say that it really does sound like them in the feedback. So here I'm just going to give you a very brief opportunity to participate with a word cloud. So I hope you guys love the book Matilda as much as I do. If not, feel free to type in some positive vibe words for tonight's webinar. And what's really great about this is that through the Curipod platform, no students are ever identified on the screen by name for their contributions. The teacher is able to see that information on the back end of the system, but it really creates a great classroom community where students can confidently share their ideas and talk about their ideas together without feeling, oh, I'm not that good of a writer yet, or maybe I don't know if I want to say this out loud. So as you can see here, this creates a nice little word cloud for us. And I do want to give you an opportunity here before I show you one of our other generators to see how easy it can be to leverage Curipod once summer reading is done. So once you're back in the classroom after all of the lovely adventures in reading have happened, our administrators always want us to assess, right? What are you going to have them do? You're going to have them do a project, write an essay, make a PowerPoint. Well, I always say have them come and do a Curipod. So this is just going to give you a tiny little sample of what our AI feedback looks like. And in this section, you're going to receive some direct comments back from the character themselves, as well as some information on books that you might want to read in the future. So this is why I really love this story generator here, because it's going to give students more and more and more based on what they're highlighting about what they read and how they're reacting and changing their thoughts and writing. So thank you for everybody who participated. I know it was a very quick sample of what we can do, but I just want to show you very, very quickly how fast it is to actually create a lesson. As we kind of go through the slides, if you are still in the presentation, you have freedom to play around with the AI whiteboard and the drawing tools. And there's even a section here at the back where you can leave some questions for us. So I'm just going to switch over to another type of lesson that you could really use to amp up reading interest with your students. And these are really, we're going to have a lot of really great immersive storyline generators coming out for the beginning of the school year. So you're getting a little bit of a preview. I don't know if my bosses are going to say I should be showing you, but I'm so excited about it. And my students who've gotten a preview too are as well. So really what our goal is to take the fun and put it back in learning. We know the things that are catching students' attention are those that are on TikTok and Instagram and, you know, those very engaging kind of snippets where they're getting short pieces of information and they're pulling them together from different sources. So we've replicated this in kind of a little bit of an older age group reading experience where students are trying to solve a crime and they go through and they're interviewing the witnesses and they're reading case stories and they're coming up with their hypotheses and talking with their classmates. And at the end, they get a gamified response as to whether or not they did, in fact, solve that case correctly. So Curipod has an incredible number of generators that are available. And one of the really wonderful things is you can take a PDF of a story, of a text, of a poem, anything that you're using with your students, or maybe just a page of a novel that they've read for summer reading. And you can have this system create a whole experience for you in under a minute. So we're really excited and we hope that you get a chance to take a look at this with your students. And if you have any suggestions for storylines that would match with your summer reading, I happen to know someone who will be working on those this summer. So I would love to work on some for you. Oh, and I see in the comment that about students either with different reading levels or students who might have different language proficiencies. Everything within our platform is completely translatable right inside of the platform. So it's really great for anyone all around the world.
Thank you so much, Rachel. That was a lot of fun. And I love the way everyone connected so seamlessly to like how reading and then reading with novel effect can so seamlessly be integrated into these other apps as well with Wakelet, Curipod, and Book Creator. It would make a summer of learning and reading so much fun and so much better than just a book report. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So we are at the Q&A section of our webinar tonight, and one of the things I was thinking about when everyone was talking is about how kids who read over the summer, we know readers are more curious, they're engaged in more problem solving and critical thinking, and they can like really stretch their creativity. And we also know that when they're engaged in those kinds of activities throughout the summer, they're just more prepared for the school year, and they feel like they're ready to tackle it, right? And it just makes it such an easier transition for them from one grade to the next, from being in that like less routine nature of school, and then like getting right back into the routine of school and what's being expected of them. So I guess one of the questions that I know some folks have asked us is what are some things that everybody does to like keep kids motivated to read when they're not with us? What do you guys do? Mm. Can't wait. Tish, Terry, Rachel, what are some of the things you guys do to keep kids reading?
Well, I would say to the parents that are listening, and that's kind of I would really hit on that piece, like create things where the parents are involved. Because when my son was reading The Giver, he was like, I need you to go find The Giver. And I was like, oh, I need another copy because I'm going to read it with you. I think that is really important. And then I maybe just have them watch the movie. Like it needs to be not just a siloed experience. I think that's really the thing, right? It needs to be a community experience, however that looks. If his teachers had asked him to create a movie trailer on TikTok or, CapCut, I would have been involved in that too. I don't really want to be on the camera, but I know that there is connected learning. So I think the other piece I would say is to really talk to your students before they ever leave you and discuss how that reading is going to connect to everything that they're wanting to do later. Well, no matter how old they are. Usually when they get to middle school, especially though, like in 8th grade, hint, hint, he's like, I only have 4 more years left with you. And then I'm going to go off and do these things. And I'm like, that's really great. Let's talk about how reading is going to help prepare you for those new paths. So whether it's college or career, I actually have been doing a ton of research on this, just personally, because I love research, but I think application of knowledge and problem solving and creativity, those are academic skills that are going to transfer to their job or their college. Interpersonal skills like effective communication or just collaboration, or how about this, empathy and kindness, right? That's going to transfer to college or career. And then mastery of self is kind of what I like to call it, but it's going to be that personal development where the students are becoming confident, right? Confident in speaking their opinion. It might be different than their classmate. It might be different than TikTok. Whatever the case is, I think if we can connect the learning and then make it a community event, that's going to be what I'm going to say. So there's a little bit of work I would say that you have to do before they leave you so that you can get them in that mindset.
Yeah. You were saying something also about building and developing empathy, and it connected that to someone in the comments earlier who was like, oh, I would love some book recommendations. And we've all given a few here and there throughout. One that you just like sparked in my brain what is the book 21 Steps. Has anyone read that one? It is beautiful. It's about the soldiers at Arlington Cemetery, and it's very timely because Memorial Day is coming up. And I have to say that had that book been around when I was younger, before I went to Arlington Cemetery, and had the soundscape for it been around when I was younger, before I went to Arlington Cemetery, I would have had such a different experience and such a different understanding of like the significance of that space and what it feels like to be there. It really does help connect and create that empathy and an understanding that I just was not aware of as a younger child, for sure.
So I always tried to do a summer reading, like a community read with our families. The one year I did the book Stella by McCall Hoyle, and it was incredible. We had a reading celebration when we came back in the fall, and I paired it with our PTO back to school ice cream social, and I got her to Zoom in. So we did a reading celebration. But I also have done, I don't even remember the name of the book. A couple of years ago, there was a book about twins, and one of them was really good at math, and one was really good at basketball. And so we read that in the month of July. And then I had the kids with their families come up, and we did math games in the library, and we went to the gym and played basketball. So getting the parents involved in the reading with the kids. I've also done Zooms throughout the summer with kids, and you can do that. I mean, you can do that with anything, but jump on Lightbox Learning and do like you can go and do a field trip. Get on there with your second grade team next Tuesday night at 7:00. We're going to do bedtime, and we're going to read a book with you on Zoom. So just incorporate getting the families involved, I think.
So, that's a really great point, Terry, in that the research around reading, summer reading in particular, that I wish I had known when I was a classroom teacher and then again as a school librarian. Like, we all know how important it is for the home family connection, right? But like what you just reminded me of is that when our students' families know about the summer slide and they know how important summer reading is and summer learning is to preventing that, they are more likely to find time and ways to make that happen, right? They want that information because families and parents want their students to succeed and they want them to do well. And so whatever we can do as educators and librarians to provide that information to them is just makes it so much easier. And that's a really great community way.
Sometimes it's really hard though, because parents don't know where to start.
Right.
So you provide them with a starting point and, hey, we're going to read this as a school, and the principal's reading it too, and the janitor's reading it, and the crossing guard is reading it. So when we come back, we have a discussion, but they have somewhere to start because they don't know where to start.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which brings me to another question that I know a lot of folks have is like, summers can be busy with vacations and sports, and parents are still working and all that great stuff and summer vacations. What are some tips and tricks you have for helping families and kids get books in their hands and to like keep that reading and learning happening throughout the summer? I know for me, it's like go to the library. Like we can walk to our library from where I am. Like, I'm really fortunate in that sense, but like if you can get to your library, I highly recommend it. I also recommend like use Novel Effect and access the ebooks.
That's what I was going to mention. So one of our ambassadors, he likes to bring his phone, I guess, to the carpool line. And when there is like some extra time or they're waiting for the rest of the parents to come, he'll whip out Novel Effect and an ebook, and it gets all the kids' attention. And I love that way. Like it's just so accessible on your phone. So I thought that was a neat trick.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that someone said, make sure kids see you reading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say modeling is always going to be the thing because they're picking it up, whether you're saying it or not. So if I'm not reading a real book, I'm going to be reading something on my phone, on my Kindle app, or I'm going to be researching and reading something like an article, right? Or if I know Jason's reading a book, I'm going to go look something up so I can have a conversation with him about it. So I think it has to happen whenever you can find the time, like being in the car, right? A lot of times I do podcasts or audiobooks in my car. just so that he can hear it. I always say this, and I get made fun of by all of my colleagues for saying this, but it's true. There is a way, not the way. And so a lot of times when I was younger, my teachers would criticize me for not reading the book, but I just couldn't get to the book. So listening to something or doing it a different way worked for me. I think we have to remember that with all of our students, whether they're dyslexic or ADHD like me or whatever the case is. We don't know maybe what's going on in their homes during the summer. I always like to be cognizant of that. So as a teacher, I was just really flexible with that and tried to come up with ideas. And again, like you all said, if you can connect with the parents, you have that communication going with the parents, it's going to be so much easier to just say, you're doing a great job if you can only get it in this moment, right? So I think that encouragement to parents is really huge as well.
So I just saw a question, Lenny. So that's a great question. One of the things that we have available in Novel Effect, and I know Catherine was talking earlier how like a lot of people, what we hear from a lot of our users is that they use Novel Effect as a tool to discover what to read. And so what's great about the app is that you can go into the browse section and you can search for books by age level, and it has suggested books that are suggested for that age. And in addition to that, I love to add that picture books are great for everybody. Like there are some really great fun and deep lessons, and even if it's not a deep lesson, it's a great fun way to get lost in a book and just spend time together as a family.
I was going to say to Lenny's question, I mean, in any of these platforms like Novel Effect, we've had our users or ambassadors actually take Wakelet collections and pull over those age appropriate books. So make the collection for the parents and then send them that collection in a single link. They don't have to have a Wakelet account to view that. You just set it as view only, and they have it in their inbox, or they have it as a QR code outside of your door, or however you want to share that. I think that's the great thing is any of the platforms that are here tonight and lots of other ones, you can curate those lists for your parents and have them ready before they ever leave.
Yeah. That is awesome. And it looks like we're 2 minutes over.
Tracy, do you want to go back to the giveaway page real quick, just for like a final reminder, and if people find the handles?
I can, of course.
So remember to take a picture of the presentation. You can take one now if you need to, and add a takeaway from the presentation or something you thought was really cool that you learned, and then tag us. You'll see in just a moment, but it's at Novel. At Novel_Effect, and then we also have our other partners here, and then you will be entered to win a Novel Effect summer reading plan for your whole school, as well as some fun swag from our partners.
Fantastic. I cannot wait to see all the great learnings and gleamings that people share.
Yeah, we love to see it. So make me happy when it comes through.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You can tell you and I have been working together for a while because we both said that at the same time.
Oh, did we? All right, well, I'll let you wrap it up then.
I was just gonna say, we'll hang out for a couple more minutes in case there are any additional questions that all of us are super happy to answer. We appreciate everyone coming tonight and for the enthusiasm and the great shares that everyone had. And happy reading, and we hope your reading is an adventure this summer.
Yay.